I think starting on a blank slate is sometimes, you said it actually best, focusing on one little thing at a time. For example, I just started using an AI app called Reclaim. And when I started using that app, it was great because it was helping me focus on my tasks. Because like you, contrary to popular belief, I'm not just sitting here with RBF all the goddamn time. I am here freaking out about the next task that I need to do, the next obligation, the next message I need to send, the next little item I need to do. Like, I freak out about it all the time. To the point where I would just stare at my inbox and I'm going, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing next? I would look at my task list, I'm like, I don't want to do any of this today, or I don't know where to start, etc. Spencer it was really funny. So on Mother's Day, his mom and I went to dinner, we all went to breakfast with his mom. And he's like, oh, he's a Cancer. And his mom sarcastically and unsarcastically said, he's a crab. And I was like, yep. He's a crab, all right. Like, in my head, I was like, he was bitching and complaining that morning. And then he was already red because of the fact he went golfing, like, the day before. And then Spencer, and then Jonathan
really
was
living into it.
I know, really living into the term crab. I died when I was like, yup, I'm going to use that. He's a crab. So, and they're like, oh yeah, we almost named him Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. I was like, yes.
Now, I think, is Sebastian a crab? Because he has a head like a lobster.
He's a crustacean.
And he walks more like a lobster. But even I was watching Aladdin last night. Yes, as a 35-year-old person, I was rewatching Aladdin. Mm-hmm. And Genie is like going through the cookbook on like how to make a prince, right? And he's like makes a comment on crab, and then he pulls out Sebastian and like shakes it off. He's like, hate when that happens. And I was like, is he a crab? That feels like very like Disney official that he said the word crab and he pulled Sebastian out on his hand. And I was like, so that feels like Disney is calling Sebastian a crab. But he does not look like a crab.
No, he looks like a lobster.
But with crablet feet. Like, I don't...
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't either. But
So we were sitting in the movie theater. I know we're going to be talking about Monday here in a minute. That's the topic. Brilliant topic. So it was funny because we were watching Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
And we saw the preview for Little Mermaid and how they did the same thing. It was like pseudo crab, right, is Sebastian. And then Flounder is like kind of creepy, but legit a fish. So it's Flounder. So what was great is that we were talking about, Mulan, how many people were really disappointed that Mushu was not in the movie. And they're like, no, if you're going to do Mulan, you have to have the little dragon.
Yeah.
He's the best part of Mulan, from what people were saying.
So wait, are we talking live action?
So yeah, when you move it to a live action, you have to have like the initial character. So
yeah. The whole dragon union, getting them hired is very difficult.
Yeah, for sure. And then, like a crab that's like your advisor at the same time, like your life mentor. That's it. So props to
chaperone.
Your chaperone, yeah, your handler. So I thought that was really cool that Little Mermaid kept the two characters because they learned from Mulan that you have to have the little sidekick. Anyways.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about Monday. How was your Monday?
Actually, okay. Yes, I finally have something cool to report about a Monday. It was actually really great. I had a very long Monday because I was very much in a work flow. So I got a ton done.
Workflow.
It was such a good workflow. I was like bummed out. I was like, I gotta stop work now. But like I was in the flow, right? And the reason why I was able to do that, I think, is because I actually had fun on the weekend. So I'm trying out a new thing. I don't know if you've had fun before. Highly recommend it. Really, really recommend prioritizing it in your life.
Thanks. I appreciate the advice.
Yeah, check it out, man. It's really fun.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. But no, I'd really gotten into a space where my life was entirely work over the last few months. And I was exhausted, and I was burnt out, and I was crabby, and just like...
Crabby.
Yeah, I just was really... And it got to the point where I'm like, I don't know what I'm here for. Like, what is this all for if I'm just working and working and working and I'm paying my bills and, like, that's what I'm here in the human embodiment for. Like, that doesn't seem right. And I know that having one, like, not diversifying the time portfolio is a bad investment.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've got to just create the space. And then there's that voice that's like, well, you don't have it. You don't have the space. You don't have the time.
Mm-hmm.
You only have time for work. And I'm like, that can't possibly be true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have agency over my life. Like, I get to create that. So I did. So a couple weeks ago, I went, I don't care. The work is still going to be there. It's a never-ending list of stuff that has to get done, and I never get caught up on it. It's going to be there. I have to make time for myself.
Mm-hmm.
For rest, for fun, for play, for family.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I have been.
Yeah.
I just Sundays are a completely guarded day.
Oh, yeah.
No work. They're just for fun. It's just whatever I want to do. And I'm making time on Saturdays as well. And during the week, also little pockets of fun here and there and rest. So I did. I had a fun weekend, and it was a little mix of work at appropriate times and then fun. And it left me so ready and refreshed.
Yeah.
That come Monday, I wasn't like, oh, I'm bummed out the weekend's over, because I felt like I actually really had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, let's do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this shit done.
Cool.
And I was in it. So my Monday yesterday was actually great because I took care of me before I took care of Monday.
Yeah. No, I'm so, you know, as the CEO, I always look at what my week looks like, what my week doesn't look like. And I'm always really nervous. So many people don't know, here at Siarza, we actually cap our hours for our hourly team members to 35. And then we move to people to a salaried position. We purposely keep it at 35 because we don't want people to burn out, right? Mm-hmm. And if they burn out, then there's something going on that's out of our control, because we've asked folks, like, cap it at 35. People at first are like, oh, you know, you should always do a 40-hour work week. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think you need to be your best productive self. I think you need to take care of your personal health. And most importantly, have a flexible work schedule with 35 hours. But 35 hours is always the cap. And if somebody needs to push to 40, they just need to talk to their, you know, the people that they report to and talk that out. So I personally, for a long time, would actually take Saturday and Sundays to myself too. My hobbies are something that I dearly, dearly protect, and those keep me satisfied. So some of you may know, like, on the weekends, I'm actually a hot air balloon nut, like, enthusiast, right? And so I chase hot air balloons, and I learn about, like, how does the weather go up? And you've ridden with our friends before. And the reason why is, like, I love riding in the back of the truck. I love dressing up in a onesie because it's warmer that way. I love hanging out with people that love to tailgate. Like, it is my jam. And then what's great about it, I wake up at 6, I roll out of bed, put the onesie on, get at 6, and then I'm done by 9. And then I take a nap.
Ooh,
it's
fancy.
Awesome. Yeah. So, like, naps are my thing on the weekends. Like, I call it my ballooning naps. I love my ballooning naps. And then afterwards, I just, like, I clean. I know that seems like that is some people's therapy, like cleaning, organizing, doing something that they're not really having to do. Like, my weekends are very sacred, where I will check an email, maybe, but I won't have a project done. Mm-hmm. It's a little stressful for me right now, though, I'm talking about Monday, is that I've got a big deadline I've got to catch professionally. I've got to take care of. I have a luncheon that requires, like, a major fundraising effort for the nonprofit, the Asian Business Collaborative. And then it's also Asian American Pacific Islander Month, which is great. But when you've created one of the largest Asian community organizations in New Mexico, like, it creates that pressure to make sure that you're available for API&H month. So that's something very stressful. And then what was the other one? So, like, everything's happening in between now and Memorial Day, and I'm really nervous about it. So my Monday, so if you're to ask me, Kristelle, how was your Monday? I woke up really early to study. I woke up really early to work, but because of this, like, golf tournament that I couldn't get out of, we ended up golfing that my Monday, and for a good cause, of course, for the ALS Society New Mexico chapter. It was really fun. It was a nice break to my Monday. Golf tournaments, I don't know what it is about golf tournaments on Mondays, too. Like, these corporate tournaments, it's like, let's get plastered on a Monday. And I'm like, dude, we got work to do. Bro, like, we have so much work to do. But, yeah, so my Monday was very busy. my previous Monday was stressing out that Monday. No, my previous Monday, I was in New Orleans with the rest of my other friends from that own agencies across the nation and in Canada. So my Mondays have been unproductive, but my Mondays have also been filled with like meaningful connections, hanging out with people, learning. Like 2 weeks ago, I was doing the workshop on how to run your own digital agency and your PR team. So my Mondays have been kind of stressful. But one thing we wanted to talk about today, which I thought was good, is the Sunday Scaries. I definitely had the Sunday Scaries this time around.
Okay.
So how would you describe what the Sunday Scaries are?
For me, I always thought of it more as dread, where even sometimes it like started creeping up to Saturday. At one point, it was like Sunday would come around, and by about noon, I would start dreading Monday. And I would feel like, oh, I have all this stuff to do. Or there were times where I did not like my job, not the current job, but just in the past. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to go in. It's like, ugh, it's like, are you working for the weekend, right? Because you hate your whole week. Like, how have we come to a society where that's acceptable?
I don't think, But
like, that's a different discussion. So by like noon on Sunday, I would start having this dread. It would completely ruin my weekend because I was having anxiety. I had very, very high anxiety back in the day.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like all the things I had to get done and the panic of it not being enough and what's actually going on in my week. Let me get it ordered. And then it got to a point where I started actually just working on Sundays because it's like, well, if I'm going to stress out about it anyway, I might as well get a jump start on it. So then I was taking away. That's probably when the Saturday Scaries came in because then Sunday became my Monday. So then I was stressing out on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. No, that makes perfect sense. Sunday Scaries for me, it's weird. Like it happens every time. 10 o'clock on a Sunday.
AM or PM?
PM.
Girl, you were up at 10 o'clock on a Sunday in the nighttime?
Well, it gets worse. It gets worse. So my Sunday Scaries is, I know I need to see a therapist about this. Sunday at 10 o'clock. And then I say, oh shit, I forgot something. Or, oh, I have a really big week. I start looking at my calendar. I start getting snippy. And then I look at it and I'm like, well, I'll just wake up really early. So or I might crack open something, or I might do something that needs to be productive. I don't know what it is. Or I start making excuses. And like, have I told you the hamster metaphor? So it doesn't look like it. So Spencer and I, my better half, he made up this like metaphor for how his brain works. It's a hamster on a wheel. And the hamster is just either like if, let's say, for example, you can't remember or you just woke up in the morning. He says, oh, my hamster is like barely moving right now, like personifies his hamster in his head. And so you'll hear me make this reference from time to time. So my hamster on a Sunday is like, or my mind definitely goes like, when a hamster gets too spun up that he just sits there and then he goes with the wheel.
Yeah.
That's mostly a lot of my time too. In my head, like that's what it visualizes. So, and then when Monday comes around, it's like, okay, we got to do this, and this. And so we're moving and, we're driving, et cetera. So that's what my Sunday Scaries typically is my hamster's like already flopped and still spinning with the wheel.
And how does that affect your sleep?
It does affect my sleep very often. Like last night I went to bed at like 8 and then I woke up at 3 in the morning and then tried to work a little bit and then fell asleep and then tried to work a little bit and fell asleep. So I have to listen to my body. If my body's telling me to go back to sleep, go back to sleep. I will tell you that when I start exercising, that's when my sleep gets really regulated, which is really great too. And I also think that like, some people like smoke weed or they drink or stuff like that. Like none of that works for me. I just have to like meditate and then I'll go to sleep. Nice. That's how I typically am. But I think Monday is a really fascinating topic because we think of the scaries. It really opens up the door, like I just did, like to talk about anxiety. It talks about work and productivity and how we stress out about it. I also think Monday is also just like, some people dread it. Some people think of it as like the starting gun. Right? There are people in this world, and I'm trying to think of somebody in my life that does that. When Monday happens, they go full on hype mode, right? They get in the car and they're like, I'm playing like the most, highest beats per minute, and they're go. Who are those people in our lives that do that?
This guy wasn't in my life, but he had his window down on Monday, and he was like, it was just full blown club mode in his car. Truck. Yeah, and I was like, I guess we're just like,
let's go.
And I was like, we're in it now. That guy was full beats per minute Mondaying it. He was like about it, and I was like, dang, in my head, I was like, this is Monday after dark. Like, it's like club mode over here. And I'm walking the dogs, and I'm just, like, weirdly dancing, like, on the side of the road. And it was like, he was blasting it. So I was like, oh, that's a fun Monday. That guy was in it. I do like I like the happy Monday mode instead of case of the Mondays.
Yeah.
Where, like, there are these people that are like, happy Monday. And they, like, treat it like, you're like, happy Friday. And it's like, fuck that, happy Monday. Like, we're getting it going here. And, like, I like that mode instead of, like,
yeah,
somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
or I like motivational Mondays.
Okay.
Yeah, when people...
Love a good alliteration.
Yeah, like, when people all of a sudden, they become one of those, like, epic... meaningful TEDxers that are standing on the red dot.
Like 2 sentences on a Monday.
I know. They're like, they all of a sudden, like, they write the greatest fucking proverb that you're ever going to hear from Confucius or something like that. And they tell you, like, the world, especially as I listen to a lot of, like, entrepreneurs and, you know, those types of people, like your Gary Vaynerchuk's of the world, they're just like, go and fucking crush it today. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go crush it today. Like, those are the people, like, those motivational Monday guys, like Tony Robbins, so great. To me, those are the best types of people.
Not my jam. That is not me at all. I don't want to be yelled at. I am not someone that's like, though that style that came around and it was like, I'm going to, like, yell at you. It's like so masculine, so rigid. And I'm right away, like, the rebel in me is like, well, I'm not going to have a good Monday. Like, don't tell me to have a good Monday, yelling at me for a good Monday. Like, then I'm like, I'm just going to have a mediocre Monday. Like, it's like stupid, but I do. I was dating this guy for a short while. We're getting to know each other. And he was the, like, get out there and crush it. Like, he was a like, big time fitness guy, worked with professional athletes and whatnot. Yeah. And I was like, we are very different people. Where I'm like, I'm going to go, like, greet the day and, like, invite the day into my world. Like, I literally walk out of my house and, like, say hello to the world. Yeah. Like, every time Indiana, my little border collie, wakes me up, I'm like, who's ready for another great day? Yeah. Like, that's me. I'm not like, we're going to crush it. Yeah. Like, let's kill this one day. Yeah. Like, why are we so aggressive? Like, it's just a day in your life. Like, go and enjoy it and be out there with it.
I think it's that, for me, I think it's the Monday night football excitement. That's the best way to describe it. Like, the NFL schedule came out. All the teams know when they're playing. The tickets have been released. And so I'm the type on a Monday that, like, let's go tailgate. And then at 5 o'clock, let's turn on Amazon Prime and listen to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. And let's crush it. Like, that's
man. As soon as, like, meat, like, wings and, like, most junk food and beer went out of my life, sports left entirely. They went with it. I'm like, what's the point of a baseball game if you're not eating some junk item or drinking some booze at each inning? Like, that was the point. Yeah. Every inning you go and consume
something.
Yes, that was the point of sports. So when that stuff left, sports kind of went out the window too.
Yeah, no.
So I'm sitting in the conference room yesterday and I'm working and someone else is in there with me, and then, like, literally in my head I'm pep talking myself in this moment. And I'm like sitting, because we all look normal. We're just like working and we're just like everything. I'm just like having a normal day. But in my head, I am like, I'm sure everybody else is freaking out and just looks super normal, Jace. Like, it's totally okay. Like, just breathe through it. And you know what? Even if you have 1,000 things to do, you can only just do one of them at a time. So just do the one thing that you need to do right now, and then we'll figure out the next thing. And I'm like literally having this conversation with myself while I'm working. And then the other person in the conference room was like, did you get brain fog on Mondays? And I said, no, but I am having, oh, fuck it. What am I doing with my, like, what's actually happening going on? Like, I'm having that brain today. And then I asked other people around the office, I was like, do you sit there working normal? Like, you just look calm and complacent and, like, just fine, but inside you're freaking out.
All the time.
Yeah, and everybody was like, and one person was literally taking an anxiety med while I was asking this question. No. Yes, and so I'm like, okay, this is going on, and and that doesn't make it okay. Like, there are things for me to be doing that can help with all of that in the meantime.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about, because I like the idea of Monday, and everybody has a different Monday, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just the start of the week where your time goes outside. Right, like, so I can talk about my time on my weekends. That's inside time. I get to decide what I do with it. But during the week, I dedicate that time to my commitments outside, right? So maybe that's a Wednesday for some people, whatever. But whatever the start of the week is, what have you seen as a person and a business owner that makes a successful start to the week?
That's a great question. I think understanding the clearing of the plate. I think starting on a blank slate is sometimes, you said it actually best, focusing on one little thing at a time. For example, I just started using an AI app called Reclaim. And when I started using that app, it was great because it was helping me focus on my tasks. Because like you, contrary to popular belief, I'm not just sitting here with RBF all the goddamn time. I am here freaking out about the next task that I need to do, the next obligation, the next message I need to send, the next little item I need to do. Like, I freak out about it all the time. To the point where I would just stare at my inbox and I'm going, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing next? I would look at my task list. I'm like, I don't want to do any of this today, or I don't know where to start, etc. So what I've learned is one at a time. One little task at a time. And that, to me, I think really helps. I also think that having the tone set by the entire team is really helpful. So our Monday meetings are down to 30 minutes, but it's the time for all of us to get back together, giggle, laugh, joke around, and it's very monotone on purpose. Until you get into the memes, because the memes are really funny. Everybody likes to read them. But the reason why it's very habitual, it's actually not supposed to stress out the team. It's supposed to say, hey, I did this. Hey, let's give a shout out. This is really great for this person. Because I learned early on, let's say 2016, I remember it very vividly. We would go through each and every individual project in the firm. And it was only 20 clients around that time frame, 25 clients around that time. We would go through on a Monday morning, every single client. And then all of a sudden, I would see people like, I need a break. I'm going to go to lunch really quick. And they would just be stressed the fuck out. We had a much younger team, much inexperienced team at the time. But they'd be like, I'm having such a panic attack right now. And one person was just like, what do you mean? This. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. I've learned you cannot overwhelm people on a Monday. You do everything that you can to chill. They are placed, like, for example, our business development meetings are on Mondays. I like to put those on paper, and I like to be very fluid with those where we can cancel at the last minute with each other and opt out of it with each other because I want everybody to have a time to focus. Everybody to have a time to, like, work on just one little thing, one big thing, one small thing, whatever that might be. And so it's always just a big challenge with the way that it works because Monday is always just a big challenge with the way that it works is because you, as managers and as business owners, we want everybody to be like, boom, 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 let's go. You can't do that.
All the time.
No, you can't do that every Monday. Right. You have to, you kind of have to set a routine for everybody and then let them carve out their routine throughout the week. So it's kind of like it's just like parenting, right? Your kid, and I have to give a lot of credit to my mom when she was raising Jonathan. Jonathan knows at 7 o'clock it's time to wake up, jump in the shower, shit, shower, and shave, and then get out the door. And it's like, he knows what to expect. When I don't have a routine, I'm the worst example for him. My routine is not the great routine. I don't start off my week very well sometimes because I don't follow what he follows. So sometimes routines actually are very, as monotonous as they can be, they're actually very, like,
absolutely
predictable, because when it's unpredictable, that's when anxiety happens. So that's my kind of tool for everybody. Like, how do you start a good Monday? How do you create a good Monday for your team to be very cross-functioning? Give them a routine of some sort. So, yeah.
I like it. Yeah, the brain and the brain loves routine. The brain is really desires habits. So that kind of creates, like, if we think about, like, the organization brain, likes it too.
Well, and I love organizational management, and I like to study teams. And everybody, some people just don't understand why. Like, why do we have a Monday meeting every Monday? Why do we have to check in on every Wednesday to do a Zoom and chill? It's just because two things: it's all by design, and it's all effective team building.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form.
And creates those anchor points that people know. Like, whatever else is going to be going on, this is always going to be here, and here's what to expect in it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
I think our time is running out related to Monday. I think we've kind of talked about a couple different things.
Yeah, so having some routine is in the mix for having a good Monday. Setting aside time over the weekend or whatever that looks like in order to recharge, detach, do what you got to do, take care of you. Starting, and I'm hearing like a pace, whatever pace works for you, whether that's Monday after dark, hitting the club at 6 a.m. in your car, or grooving slowly into it. And then having a plan.
Yep.
Having some kind of like knowing what the week is going to entail, like making sure you are the master of your week and starting that on Monday, not like letting other people dictate that. Like starting, one of the worst things we do is start checking email first thing in the morning, giving away our time to the outside. So yeah, setting that time set so you're creating what your Monday even looks like. Maybe even set up Monday on Friday. What?
Yeah.
Start your Monday on Friday.
Very much possible. So.
And then diversifying your time portfolio. So you're getting in a lot throughout the week. So you're not in that constant anxiety.
Yep.
And taking care of your sleep and mental health.
Totally.
I love it. Ooh. Let's talk about mental health and success at one of these episodes.
Yep. Mental health and success I think is great. Relationships and success, we talked a little bit about that. I know that we're looking at some other great topics. Follow us on social media. Just excited that you all listened to today's podcast on story, success, and stuff.